The war of words between golf's establishment and its breakaway stars has erupted once again. And this time, it's personal. Westwood, the 53-year-old former world number one and one of LIV Golf's most vocal defenders, has fired a brutal salvo at Rory McIlroy after the Masters champion questioned whether LIV players have brought any value to golf. The feud began when McIlroy was asked at the BMW Championship which LIV players he would welcome back to the PGA Tour. His response was dismissive. I would argue, have they brought value to LIV? I think the PGA Tour's in a really good spot. McIlroy went further, warning that it would be a tough road back for players like Jon Rahm and Bryson DeChambeau, adding that the returning member program, offered to Brooks Koepka earlier this year, had come and gone. Enter Westwood. Speaking to TNT Sports at the LIV Golf Indianapolis event, the Englishman didn't hold back. I heard Rory's comments yesterday. I thought Scottie Scheffler answered the question well, and Rory's answer was just typical of Rory, really. It wasn't well thought out. Westwood, who will make his DP World Tour comeback at the Alfred Dunhill Links Championship in October, pointed to the 25 LIV players invited to that event as proof that his tour still has value. He added, I really don't care what people think, to be perfectly honest. It illustrates the fact that people like LIV players in their events, promoters and sponsors, no matter which tour they're on, they bring quality to tournaments. So what's really going on here? Is McIlroy being unfair to LIV players? Has Westwood got a point about their value? And why is the golf world still at war? Buckle up, because Westwood just threw down the gauntlet, and we're breaking it all down. It started with a simple question. At the BMW Championship press conference, McIlroy was asked which LIV players, if any, would bring value to the PGA Tour if they returned. His answer was blunt. I would argue, have they brought value to LIV? I think the PGA Tour's in a really good spot. McIlroy didn't stop there. He warned that the returning member program, the same deal Brooks Koepka used to return earlier this year, is no longer available. That has sort of come and gone, he said. The deal that they might get going forward, if they do decide to come back, isn't going to be as good as the one that Brooks got. So I would say it's going to be a tough road back. The comments were a sharp contrast to Scottie Scheffler, who said earlier in the week that LIV stars like Jon Rahm and Bryson DeChambeau would provide value to the tour and are guys that I love competing against. McIlroy also made it clear that his position hasn't changed. I feel like I've kept my position consistent that LIV has never been a good thing for the game. Westwood wasn't about to let McIlroy's comments slide. Speaking to TNT Sports after the first round of LIV Golf Indianapolis, the league's final event of the season, Westwood delivered a stinging rebuttal. I heard Rory's comments yesterday, Westwood said. I thought Scottie answered the question well, and Rory's answer was just typical of Rory, really. It wasn't well thought out. Westwood pointed to over 20 LIV players who have been invited to the Alfred Dunhill Links Championship in October, including himself and Ian Poulter. The Alfred Dunhill is a point in question where tournament host Johan Rupert's got something like 26 or 27 invites, and I think 25 people off LIV have got invites, Westwood said. That just shows you that LIV players do bring value to tournaments. He also addressed criticism of his own DP World Tour return, which comes after he and Poulter resigned their memberships in 2023 following their move to LIV. I really don't care what people think, to be perfectly honest. I think it illustrates the fact that people like LIV players playing in their events, promoters and sponsors, no matter which tour they're on, they bring quality to tournaments. Westwood also took a swipe at McIlroy's consistency, referencing his history of shifting positions. I don't listen to him because he changes his mind every other week. The war of words comes at a critical moment for LIV Golf. The league is in crisis. Saudi Arabia's public investment fund has pulled its funding, the season-ending team championship in Michigan has been canceled, and vendors are suing for unpaid fees. LIV CEO Scott O'Neill has claimed a lead investor has been found, but no details have been revealed. Multiple LIV stars are looking for an exit. Jon Rahm, the three-time individual champion, is reportedly on his way out. Bryson DeChambeau and Cameron Smith are also rumored to be exploring options to return to the PGA Tour. McIlroy's message is clear. The door is open, but it's not wide open. He's warning that players who left for LIV will face consequences for their decision. Westwood's message is equally clear. LIV players still have value, and they're proving it by being invited to events all over the world. The debate over the value of LIV players is at the heart of the feud. McIlroy argues that LIV's big names haven't done enough to justify their massive contracts and the disruption they've caused. Westwood argues that the sheer number of LIV players being invited to DP World Tour events proves otherwise. That Westwood's strongest evidence for LIV's value is the Alfred Dunhill Links Championship. The tournament, which takes place in October on the DP World Tour, has invited 25 LIV players to compete. That's a massive number, and it's impossible to argue that those players aren't adding something to the event. Westwood himself is one of them. He'll make his first DP World Tour start in over 3 years at the event, alongside fellow LIV player Ian Poulter. The pair resigned their DP World Tour memberships in 2023 after their move to LIV, but they've since settled the fines imposed by the tour and are now eligible to return. The irony isn't lost on anyone. McIlroy, who has been the most vocal critic of LIV from the start, is now watching LIV players flood back into DP World Tour events, and he can't stop them. As Westwood put it, the Alfred Dunhill is a point in question where tournament host Johan Rupert's got something like 26 or 27 invites, and I think 25 people off LIV have got invites, so that just shows you that LIV players do bring value to tournaments. The McIlroy-Westwood feud is far from over. McIlroy's perspective: he's been consistent in his criticism of LIV from the start. He's warned that returning players won't be welcomed back with open arms, and he's made it clear that he doesn't believe LIV stars have added value to the game. Westwood's perspective: he believes LIV players are being unfairly maligned. He's pointing to the Dunhill invites as proof that they're still wanted, and he's accusing McIlroy of changing his mind whenever it suits him. The broader context: LIV Golf's future is uncertain. Without Saudi funding, the league is scrambling to survive. Players like Rahm, DeChambeau, and Smith are looking for exits, and the PGA Tour is preparing for a potential influx of returning LIV stars, but on their terms. The bottom line: the feud between McIlroy and Westwood is a symptom of a broken golf landscape. The game is still divided. The wounds haven't healed, and with LIV's future uncertain, the tensions are only going to intensify. One thing is certain: Lee Westwood isn't backing down, and neither is Rory McIlroy.